Hey, I'm Michael Duni. I'm here with Richard Warner, and we have a question for you, Richard. What should actors look for in a class or in training, and should they set goals of what they're looking to achieve?
Let me answer the second one first. Yeah, set goals. Yeah, because don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to really be able to shape your hunt for the best training possible. So what kind of goals can you set? It's a real good self-assessment of what you need next in your career, because all of us don't have a lot of money and classes can be expensive. So understanding, and sometimes you can get feedback from people, or you know that you're not auditioning well, so maybe it's an auditioning class. Or you really realize that right now you're really hungry for more or deeper emotional work, so maybe it's a class that does that. My greatest tip is that what are your greatest sources for good information? Well, colleagues, right? Word of mouth is one of the best things about anybody in any region about whether the training is good or not. People that you trust that they have worked on for, or actors that you go ask an actor that you really like his or her work, where they've trained and what kind of training they've had. That'll give you some really good tips, some sense of that.
Like you've done that.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. I was telling Michael's story is that my major mentor, the wonderful Michael Howard, is a master teacher in New York City. And here's what I did as a young actor. I would go and see shows off Broadway, way off Broadway. And I remember seeing a show way off Broadway, and there was one actor who was just outstanding. He was a standout. I just really liked his work. So what I did is I stayed afterwards, and as he came into the lobby after the show, I introduced myself and thanked him for his good work and asked him where he studied. And he said, "Oh, you've got to get to Michael Howard." And that became a 6-year journey for me, and it's probably why I'm an actor coach today. So that actor did me great service by doing that. So actors know about that. Here's my final tip is that, doesn't it make sense? You want to get to the purest source in the system you possibly can. So if you're doing the Stanislavski system, be it Meisner or Strasberg or a Hagen system, really do your research and find out what that person's through line is. Because frankly, there are a lot of charlatans out there. There's no certification. Right. Anybody can hang a shingle out. So really do your homework to see if this person has come from what I call a pure source. That's true about improv, it's true about any quality work. Doesn't that make sense? To get to something so that it's not watered down by generations of interpretation. Right. You know, we all do it very differently, and any good trainer is going to make that system his or her own and have their own sort of slant on it. But the closer you are to the primary source, the better it's going to be.
So let's bring it back to some of the specifics of what should they look for in a class, in training, in doing that research. What are the red flags? Yeah, okay. So when you're asking somebody, ask them how the class is organized. Ask them whether they're sitting and listening all the time, or are they active? Is there a sense that everyone's participating, and how? Ask them what kind of material is being used, right? If you're in a film class, how do they use film and how do they review it? What part of that class is it? The big thing is to really ask about vocabulary. Did ask your friends, did this particular trainer say things that advance your career? You know, what and how did they do it? And then finally, temperament. You know, ask them about, all right, so what's the style of this particular trainer? Is this person a cutter slasher who really likes to demean actors and thinks that's the way of doing it? Is this person working from a negative, which sometimes can work, which is, you know, don't do that. Or is this person doing it in a different way? What's the temperament and style of the training are good questions as well. And seek colleagues in your region that have taken the class as well.
Yeah, absolutely. To say, you know, what do you, I hear good things about this. What do you say? You know, and be prepared to really be specific, as Michael did, about what are some of the tenets. And getting back to this, which is really what you want to do is just not take class after class after class. Right. You know, the frustration is sometimes in the Mid-Atlantic, all you have is workshops, and there's a distinctive difference between workshops and scene study training, right? Some sense of that being very, very different, and they're distinctly different in the depth and detail that a coach can go into.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hope that helps a little bit.